So now let us quickly revise automated environment part. Okay, so this video is going to be very short, some 5 to 6 minutes. So let's start. So automated environment, first and foremost, definition of automated environment, you can remember it like this. Automated environment is basically a business environment where the process, operations and the accounting and even the decisions, important keyword over here is decisions. The decisions are also carried out by using computer systems. Okay, so it is a business environment where process, operation, accounting and even decisions are also carried out by using computer systems. So what are the key features of automated environment? So in automated environment, remember one thing, that the more automated the environment is, the more complex it becomes. Like in the case of ERP, the less automated it is, the less complex it is, like in the case of off-the-shelf accounting software. So basically, what are the features of automated environment? So first feature is that the automated environment will enable faster business operations. It will help in accuracy in data processing. So whatever data is being processed and computed, it is accurate. You can process large volume of transactions. There is integration amongst business operations, better security and controls, less prone to human errors because of automation, and it provides latest information because everything is automated. The information that you get is also very latest, and there is connectivity and networking capability. So you can take the example of Tata Group. Tata is a conglomerate. It has businesses in different industries. So its environment is very complex. So it means that it will be more automated. So the more automated it is, the more complex it is. So basically, because of the automated environment, it's able to carry on its business fastly. There is accuracy in data processing, large volume of transactions, integration amongst business operations. It has different businesses. All the businesses are being integrated because of the automated environment. There is better security and control. It is less prone to human error. It provides latest information, and also there is connectivity and networking capability. Okay, next point, understanding and documenting automated environment. So just like how the auditor understands the entity and its environment, its environment also comprises of automated environment. So the auditor needs to understand the automated environment of the entity, and he also needs to document it. Okay, so he needs to understand the entity, its automated environment, and understanding how the audit department is organized. So what all are the things that he needs to document? The first thing is that what information system is the company using? Is it using one information system? It is using more than one application systems. You need to document that. What is the purpose of the information system? Is it for financial purpose or non-financial purpose? What is the location of the IT system? Where is it located? A company might have businesses in more than one country. Where is the information system of that company located? Is it located locally or globally? What is the architecture of the IT system? The IT system can be desktop based, client server based, web application based. It can be a web application. Like if you take the example of Zoho. Zoho is a kind of like a web application kind of information system. Is it desktop based? Tally is desktop based. Is it client server based? Is it a web application? Is it cloud based? So what is the architecture of the information system? That also the auditor needs to document. Next, what is the version? So the same information system might have different versions. So different versions might have different functions and risks. So because of an outdated version that you're using, the risk involved in it might be more. So the version of the application information system also needs to be documented. So version, especially function and risk, could be vary in different versions of the same application. Next, interfaces within the systems in case of multiple system exists. So if you have multiple systems, then what is the interface? Whether the system is in-house or packaged, sometimes the company might have its own information system. Is it in-house or it is packaged? Did you outsource any activities related to IT system? Did you outsource the IT maintenance and support? That also the auditor needs to document. And the key persons, who is the person administrating, who is the CIO, who is the CISO, that also the auditor needs to document. So whatever the auditor has understood about the IT environment, the auditor needs to document it. Next, what are the risks arising from use of IT systems? So once the auditor obtains understanding of the IT system and the automated environment, now we will understand what risk. You have understood the IT environment. You should also understand what risks are there in the IT environment. So first, you can remember it like this. The first risk is inaccurate processing. The second risk is access. Is there any unauthorized access or privileged access or excessive access to the information system? So basically, some person might get privileged access. He will get super users like privileged access. Some person might get excessive access. Some person he is not authorized but still is getting access. So inaccurate process, then access. Access may have 3 points: unauthorized access, excessive access, and privileged access. Next, we have changes. So in changes, are there any direct data changes like backend changes? Are there any unauthorized changes? Is there any failure to make necessary changes? So there are 3 points related to changes, 3 points related to access. First one is inaccurate processing. Inaccurate processing, unauthorized access, excessive access, privileged access. Then we have direct data changes like backend changes, unauthorized changes, or failure to make necessary changes. The last 2 points are lack of segregation of duties and loss of data. So we're done with risk. Now what is the impact of risk? So whatever risk that the auditor has identified, he has to mitigate them. If the risks are not mitigated, then such risks could have impact on audit in different ways. So mainly it will impact the audit in 3 areas: impact on substantive testing, impact on controls, and impact on reporting. Impact on substantive checking means what? So because of the risk, the auditor needs to do increased substantive checking, that he needs to do detailed checking. What is the meaning of impact of controls? Impact on controls means there is non-reliance on controls, so it may result in additional audit work. And lastly, there is an impact on reporting. It means that due to regulatory requirements in respect of internal financial controls, it may lead to modification of auditors' report in some instances. So 3 cases where the risk will. The next topic is types of controls in an automated environment. So there are basically 3 types of controls in automated environment. The first one is general IT controls. We have application controls and then IT dependent controls. So general IT controls and application controls are very important. In general IT controls, there are 4 types of controls, which further has a lot of activities. So you have to remember those activities. So first, let's start with general IT controls. General IT controls are the policies and procedures that relate to many applications. So basically, these are the policies and procedures that are implemented by the management, which relate to many applications. It's not just for one application, it relates to many applications. And general IT controls, they support the effective functioning of application controls. So general IT controls maintain the integrity of information and security of data. So basically, there are 4 types of general IT controls, which you can remember with the abbreviation PANDA. So first and foremost one is program change. Then we have access security. Then we have network operations and data center. N for network operations, D for data center. So both are one control. And then we have A for application system acquisition, development, and maintenance. Basically business applications. So application system acquisition, development, and maintenance. So these 4 types of data controls, general IT controls, you can remember with the abbreviation PANDA. Next, so these IT controls are generally implemented to mitigate the IT specific risks and applied commonly across multiple IT systems, applications, and business process. General IT controls are also known as pervasive controls or indirect controls. Next, we have controls over data center and network operations. Okay. Now, what is the see? So basically, in general IT controls, we have 4 types of controls, and these 4 types of controls are defined as under here. In each type of these controls, we have activities. So basically, here we have activities. For program changes, we have a few activities. For access security, we have a few activities. And also for application system acquisition, development, and maintenance also, we have a few types of activities. Okay, so basically these activities can be listed out over here, and they might ask you to state which type of control is it included under. So first and foremost, you have to remember for the 4 types of controls, what is its objective, what are the activities included therein. So the first control over here we have is control over data center and network operations. So the objective of controls over data center and network operations is to ensure that production systems are processed. So whatever production systems are there, they should be processed to meet the financial reporting objectives. So basically, for each type of control, you have to remember the objective with respect to financial reporting objectives. What is the objective with respect to FRO? Okay. First, in case of controls over data center and network operations, the objective is that the production systems are processed. In case of program change, what is the objective? That the modified systems are continuing to meet the financial reporting objective. So whatever programs are being changed, basically the system is being modified. Is it still continuing to meet the financial reporting objective or not? That is the objective of program change controls. Next, we have access security. What is the objective? To access to programs and data is authenticated and authorized. So basically the objective of controls of access security is that the access to the programs and the data is authenticated and authorized to meet financial reporting objectives. What is the objective in respect of financial reporting objective? That is the thing you have to write for each type of control. Then we have application system acquisition, development, and maintenance. So here the objective is that the systems are developed, configured, and implemented to meet financial reporting objectives. Then under each type of this control, we have a few activities which we need to remember. First, in case of controls over data center, the activities are overall management of computer operation activities, preparing and scheduling and executing of batch jobs. So you can remember, first thing is that overall management of what? Computer operation activities. The second thing is preparing and scheduling and executing batch jobs. Then monitoring, storage, and retention of backups. So these controls help in performance of monitoring of operating system, database networks, and matters such as BCP, business continuity plan, and DRP. So you can remember this point. So BCP and DRP. Okay. So these are the activities included here. What is first one? Overall management of computer operation activities. Then we have preparing, scheduling and execution of batch jobs. Then monitoring and storage and retention of backups. Then you also have BCP and DRP, business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan. Then we have program changes. So program changes is very easy. Here the activities are anything that relates to change management process, recording, managing and tracking change requests, and making and testing changes. So 3 points are related to changes only over here. The first one is change management process, then recording, managing and tracking change requests, and making and testing changes. Okay, so this was about the activities of program change. Then we have access security activities. So what are the activities here? First, security organization and management. So basically access security, so whatever activities are there, they relate to security organization management, security policies and procedures, application security, data security operating system security, and network security and physical security. Basically all the points are related to security organization management, security policies and procedures, application security, data security, operating system security, network security, physical security. Okay, then application system acquisition and development. So here what do we have? So here it includes management and development activities, project initiation, analysis and design, construction, testing and quality assurance. So application system acquisition and development and maintenance mein we have management and development activities. First one is development activities, then project initiation, analysis and design, construction, testing and quality assurance. Okay, so these are the points. Next, there's a previous year question that has been asked, so we'll do it after discussing the other two controls as well. So these were the 4 controls. Panda, what is the full form for Panda? First and foremost, we have program changes, then we have access security, N for network operations, D for data center, A for application system acquisition, development and maintenance. Next type of control is application controls. So general IT controls help in the effective functioning of application controls. So application controls have both automated and manual controls, okay, and they operate at business process level. Okay, so automated application controls are embedded into IT applications, ERPs, and help in ensuring completeness, accuracy and integrity of data. So here the examples are important. Examples of automated applications include edit checks. So these examples are important. So they can list out this example and they can ask you to say which type of control it is. Okay, so the first one is edit checks. Then we have validation of input data, sequence number checks, user limit checks, reasonableness checks and mandatory data fields. So you can remember like checks may we have sequence number, user limit, reasonableness checks, edit checks. Then we have validation of input data, 2 points related to data, validation of input data and mandated data fields. Okay, so these all come under application controls. Then we have IT dependent controls. So IT dependent controls are basically manual controls. So see, application controls are automated and manual, whereas IT dependent is only manual control. Okay, so these are manual controls that make use of some form of data, information and report produced from IT systems. So in this case, even though the control is performed manually, the design and effectiveness of the control depends on the reliability of source of data. So due to inherent dependency on IT, the effectiveness and reliability of automated application controls and IT dependent controls require general IT controls to be effective. So basically both your application controls and as well as your IT dependent controls both depend on the how effective general IT control is. Okay, so basically they have told us about general IT controls and application controls. Okay, so two are interrelated and the relationship between both of them is that general IT controls ensures that there is effective functioning of application controls. Okay, complete and accurate information processing through IT systems. Now in this particular question they have given us the activity and they're asking us to classify the type of control. The first one is reasonableness checks. So reasonableness checks is application control. So here we have seen there is reasonableness checks, sequence number checks, user limit checks. Okay, next, controls over data center and network operations. This is general IT controls. So this is under the abbreviation PANDA. Program change controls, general IT controls. Controls over application system acquisition, general IT controls. So this has been asked in a previous exam for 4 marks. So just by listing out the type of controls you can get 4 marks in an exam very easily. Next, testing methods in an automated environment. So this testing methods topic we have already discussed and we understood that inquiry is efficient but it will not give, it is not complete, it will give the least audit evidence, and so inquiry should be applied in combination with any one or more or the other audit testing methods. Okay, so inquiry alone is not sufficient. Okay, so Reperformance is most effective as audit test and gives the best audit evidence. However, by testing the reperformance could be time consuming and least efficient. So what audit testing method should be applied is a matter of professional judgment of the auditor. It will vary depending on the factors like risk assessment, control environment, evidence required, history of errors. So what type of test method should be applied? It is the matter of professional judgment of the auditor. Okay, so when testing an automated environment, some of the more common methods are followed. First and foremost, you obtain understanding of how the automated transaction is processed by doing a walkthrough of one end-to-end transaction using a combination of inquiry, inspection, and observation. So basically, you obtain the working of the automated environment and you apply the combination of the three testing methods. So it is inquiry, observation, inspection. Then you observe how a user processes transactions under different scenarios. How is the user processing the transactions in different scenarios? Next, inspect the configuration defined in an application. Okay, so these are the three testing methods that you need to follow. Okay, first you apply a combination of three, then you while understanding apply a combination of the three methods, then observe how is the user processing the transaction in different scenarios, and inspect the configuration. Next, characteristics of manual and automated elements of internal control relevant to the auditor's risk assessment. So internal control has both manual elements and automated elements. Both are relevant to the auditor's risk assessment. And depending upon the auditor's risk assessment, further audit procedures are also based on it. Okay. So basically, whatever these manual elements and automated elements are there, they affect the manner in which transactions are initiated, recorded, processed, and reported. Okay. So first and foremost, controls in manual system include what? Okay, and when will the entity use automated procedures? And lastly, there is a conclusion that an entity uses consists of combination of automated and manual controls. First and foremost, controls in a manual system include procedures as approvals, review of transactions. So include procedures as approvals, review of transactions, reconciliations, follow-up of reconciling items. So these are the controls in a manual system. Entity may alternatively use automated procedures as well to initiate, record, process, and report the transactions. Okay. Now, so basically the controls in IT system consist of combination of automated as well as manual controls. Okay. So for the manual controls may be independent of IT. They may use information produced by IT or may be limited to monitoring the effective functioning of IT and automated controls. So basically, first, what is included in the controls in a manual system? Then when will an entity alternatively use automated procedures? And then control IT system consists of combination of both manual and automated controls. And then the last point is that manual controls may be independent of IT. Sometimes the manual controls are independent of IT. They may use the information that is produced by IT, or they may be limited to monitoring the effective functioning of IT and of automated controls and to handling exceptions. Okay, so basically it may be independent of IT, it may use information produced by IT, or it may be limited to monitoring the effectiveness of effective functioning of IT and of automated controls or to handle exceptions. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Next, manual elements versus automated elements. Okay, so manual elements are more suitable where judgment and discretion is required. Okay, so in cases where there is judgment and discretion required, in that case automated environment is not suitable, manual is only considered better. So in what are the circumstances that require judgment and discretion? First and foremost, in case of large, unusual and non-recurring transactions, judgment is involved. In case of circumstances where errors are difficult to define, anticipate or predict using automated environment, in that case manual element is preferred. In changing circumstances that require control response outside the scope of existing automated control, so where there are changing circumstances and you require a control response that is outside the scope of automated environment. In monitoring the effectiveness of automated controls, in all these 4 cases there is judgment and discretion involved, and in that case automated environment is not preferred and manual elements is considered as better. Okay, next, manual elements internal control may be less reliable than automated elements because they can be more easily bypassed, ignored or overridden, and they are also more prone to simple errors and mistakes. So basically again they are telling that these are the cases where manual elements are considered better, but manual element is not always suitable because they are more easily bypassed, ignored and overridden, and they are also prone to simple errors and mistakes. Okay, so next they are telling you the cases where manual elements are not suitable. In these cases, automated elements are not suitable, and here manual elements are not suitable. So when is manual element not considered as suitable? See, where there is high volume of recurring transactions, or in situations where errors that can be anticipated or predicted can be prevented, detected, and corrected by control parameters that are automated. So in case of high volume of transactions, recurring transactions and errors can be anticipated and predicted, and they can be prevented, detected, and corrected by automated elements, by control parameters that are automated. Then in that case, manual elements are not suitable. Now, control activities where specific ways to perform the control can be adequately designed and automated. So when you can specifically design and you can automate it, then in that case, manual elements are not considered as suitable. Okay. So the extent and nature of risk of internal control vary depending upon the nature and characteristics of entity's information system. So the risk, the extent and nature of the risk, they will vary depending upon the nature and characteristics of the entity's information system. Entity responds to the risk arising from use of IT and from use of manual elements. So in both cases, the entity will respond by establishing effective controls in light of characteristics of the entity's information system. So basically, this is summarize the entire manual and automated controls. Okay. Next, audit approach in an automated environment. So how will you start the audit? First and foremost, you'll do the risk assessment. Then you will understand and evaluate. Then you will test for operating effectiveness, and ultimately you will report. So in case of risk assessment, what you'll do is that first you identify the significant accounts and disclosures. What all are the significant accounts and disclosures? Next, you take the qualitative as well as the quantitative considerations. So quantitative considerations anyhow will take. Apart from that, you take the qualitative considerations as well. Then relevant financial statement assertions. So check the assertions. Then identify the likely source of misstatement, and then consider risk arising from the use of IT systems. So risk assessment, the first and foremost thing, identify significant accounts and transactions. Okay, accounts and disclosures. Then qualitative and quantitative considerations as well. Then relevant statement assertions, identify the likely source of misstatement, and consider risk arising from use of IT systems. So basically, first thing that you'll do is that you identify the significant accounts and disclosures. What all are the significant accounts? Okay. Next, what all are the significant disclosures? Identify them. Next, you take both qualitative and quantitative considerations. Mostly we will take the quantitative considerations, but you also have to take the qualitative considerations as well. Next, relevant financial statement assertions. So whatever financial statement assertions are there, which are relevant for risk assessment, take them. Then identify the misstatement in them and consider the risk arising out of that misstatement. So once you've identified the misstatement, see how much is the risk that is getting, how much is the risk that is arising from the use of IT systems. Okay. First step, risk assessment. Second step is understand and evaluate. Then what you will do is that you will understand the business processes using flowcharts and narratives. So we have read about flowcharts and narratives in the internal control topic, internal control video. Okay, so you understand the business process and using flowcharts and narratives. Prepare risk control matrices. Then understand the design of, so you can remember RCM. Then understand the design of controls by performing walkthroughs of end-to-end processes. Okay, from one process to another process, do a thorough walkthrough. Then process wide considerations for entity level control, segregation of duties. Okay, so what are the considerations in respect of segregation of duties, in respect of entity level controls, IT general controls, application controls? So basically understand and evaluate is the second step. The third step is test for the operating effectiveness. Nature, extent and timing of the controls. Then reliability of source of data, testing of key reports and spreadsheets, sample testing. Consider competence and independence of staff team by performing control testing. Okay, third step, testing. Fourth step is ultimately reporting. So evaluate the control deficiencies. Okay, so internal control deficiencies as per SA 265, evaluate them. Then if there are any significant deficiencies, you have to communicate to TCWGI management. Okay, material weaknesses, remediation of control weaknesses, then internal control memo, management letter, LELM, and auditor's report. So basically, if you will just write down the 4 steps along with at least 1 or 2 points from these, it will suffice, because we can't write everything in the exam hall. Ultimately, we have to retrieve whatever is asked in the question that is appropriate. First step, risk assessment. Second step, understand and evaluate. Third step is test for operating effectiveness, and fourth step is reporting. That's it. Next, data analytics for audit. Okay, so we know that companies rely more and more on IT systems, okay, and networks to operate business, and the amount of data and information in these is enormous. So basically a company has a lots of data and information, and this data and information is enormous. So what happens is that each and everything cannot be done manually. So in that case, data analytics will help us. So what is data analytics? Data analytics is basically the process, the tools, the techniques which are used to tap vast amount of electronic data to obtain meaningful information. So basically it's a combination of process, tools and techniques by which you're able to tap enormous data and obtain meaningful information from it. So the entity will anyhow use data analytics, but the auditor can also use data analytics. You can also make use of similar tools and techniques in the audit process to obtain good results. Okay, so how is the auditor going to use data analytics is what we're going to study over here. So basically the tools and techniques that the auditors use in applying principles of data analytics are also known as computer assisted auditing techniques, or SAT or CAT in short. Okay, so it's basically the tools and techniques which the auditors use in applying the principles of data analytics. So what are these known as? This can be asked in the form of MCQ. Computer assisted auditing techniques. Okay, so basically here the computer is assisting the auditor. So computer assisted auditing techniques. So they can be used in testing of electronic records and data residing in IT systems by using spreadsheets and specialized audit tools. Okay, so for example, the auditor wants to do sampling. He will not do there is enormous data. The auditor will not do everything by himself. In that case, he will use data analytics. So in case of selection of audit samples, he will use data analytics. In case of checking completeness of data and population, that is used in test of control and substantive procedures, substantive audit tests, he will use data analytics. He wants to recompute the balances, he will use data analytics. He wants to reperform the mathematical calculations. He will not sit and work out each and everything. He will not sit and work out each and everything, like depreciation, bank interest and calculation. Okay, so he's going to use data analytics. If he wants to analyze journal entries, he's going to use data analytics. If he wants to investigate fraud, so in every step he's going to use data analytics. What is the meaning of data analytics over here in audit? He's going to use spreadsheets and specialized audit tools, okay, like IDEA and ACL to perform these. Okay, so this thing can be asked in the exam for 3 marks, where all the auditor will use data analytics. Okay, so you can write down points. Basically it's very simple. If the auditor wants to do fraud investigation, he wants to analyze journal entries, he wants to evaluate the impact of control deficiencies, he wants to reperform mathematical calculations while selection of audit samples, while recomputation of balances, all these cases he will use data analytics. Next we have digital audit. Okay, so digital audit, as with digital audit, what is happening over here is that entities are embracing digitalization. So basically they are becoming more digital in order to keep pace with the changing times. So new technologies are being adapted by the entities, so because of which they are able to conduct the operations in a better way and rethink the way the business is being conducted. So companies are restructuring the businesses because of the technology, because of the changing technology. So the companies are restructuring the business models driven by technology, and automation is the key to digitalization. Automation is the key to the changing technology. It is a key to achieve digitalization. So in such a business environment, the use of digital technology is being made by auditors right from the planning stage to expression of final opinion. So right from the planning stage itself, the auditor is using digitalization. He is using digital tools and techniques right from the planning stage and up until he is giving his final audit report. He is applying digitalization. So what are the auditors using? The auditors are making use of tools like artificial intelligence, data analytics and other latest technologies to help understand the business process in a better way. So when the auditor is using such tools, they can conduct audit in a better way and they can devote more attention. So when digital tools are helping the auditor to manage these areas, then the auditor can devote his attention more to the areas requiring greater focus. So where things require other things which require greater focus, the auditor will put more attention over there, and he will use data analytics and digitalization for the simpler things. Okay, so digital audit is helping the auditor to identify errors and by making use of technology. Okay, this was about digital audit. It can be asked for 4 marks. So we're done with automated environment as well.